Experience!
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Underdog, the Thanksgiving DraftKings Picks, game by game, lineup by lineup. Will get you ready for what you need to know on Turkey Day. You set those lineups, but Ben Rasa from Odd Shopper is joining me on the line to break this down. You know, late swap is always the most important on Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, because of course everyone's got time on their hands, and you got to stay sober to get to the last game. And I wouldn't know because I truly don't think I've survived through the Lions game in half a decade. So maybe this will be the year that I get to Dallas with a chance.
Well, let's start with Chicago at Detroit. Obviously, Detroit is an overwhelming favorite in this game. I'm just looking through how to build out some of these lineups. Like, is there a game of the three you want to stack? Because I think the want is just to stack up Lions as much as possible. And I tend to agree. It can get kind of pricey.
Yeah, I mean, if you told me one of the games was, gonna go crazy, it does feel like the game in the Dome here with the Lions would be it. But as you mentioned, it's not the easiest situation to do unless you're flipping it, and maybe, I guess we can jump right into it. I guess if you're going like a Caleb stack, that'll open it up a little bit.
And that's what I was thinking. I guess my impression on this, do you think that's what everyone is going to do? Do you think that there's going to be value on the Lions passing game because it is so expensive, and the want would just be, hey, I want a part of this game. Oh, here's the easy thing I can do. I can take Caleb, some pass catchers, Jamison Williams, and Jahmyr Gibbs, just overload it. But from the Chicago side, maybe you just say it's the other side. Be like, hey, Detroit's just going to win by 40 in this game and just take all Lions.
There definitely is something to that. I think, again, I'm small edges, but Caleb Williams had a monster showing against Minnesota. And I think that's going to catch a lot of people's eyes. And it's like such an easier build that way. It's just like, am I going to play like Gibbs? And it's just when you start getting St. Brown and Gibbs and then Laporta, we'll see what's up with Montgomery. There are so many weapons on that team.
It's easy to get wrong, I suppose. David Montgomery, as of right now, is questionable for this game. Dan Campbell said Dan Campbell says he's going to play, but we'll see. Obviously, that's going to give a lean to Gibbs. So let's say he goes into this game with limited practice, which is probably going to be the case, and that he's going to end up active. Do you think that takes the ownership off of Montgomery?
Definitely. Ironically, I think it'll be more likely to play him just because this is only 3 games. And if you could tell me I can get a piece of the Detroit puzzle that might not be super popular, he's still, I assume, capable. I don't even know what he hurt, but I would hope he can fall in the end zone for me a couple times if I get the right script.
So let's try to do this with Caleb. We'll build a Caleb side and we'll build a Lions side with some of these lineups. So Caleb in at quarterback, who do you put with him? Obviously, DJ Moore and Keenan Allen go off against Minnesota, and Kmet and Adunze don't really do anything. Does that mean just use Adunze and Kmet this time around because no one will?
So I do just perpetually like DJ Moore in this price range. I wouldn't mind going right back to him. But the funny thing about it, because you're right, Moore and Keenan Allen go nuts. Kmet still had 10 targets in that game. Quietly, it feels like. So I would like to do wide receiver plus Kmet, dealer's choice on Allen versus Moore.
Well, the problem with using Kmet in your tight end slot is there's actually a lot of decent, like low-owned, cheap tight ends that you can use. Like I don't even know if Laporta is going to be the overwhelming chalk here, because when we take a look at the pricing, he's $4,100. Let me click off this game in total. So just the entire slate, like Jonnu is the most expensive tight end. He just keeps coming through every single week. I don't think that Jake Ferguson is going to play. That means my guy Schoonmaker will be back at 35, although it is the most difficult matchup in terms of fantasy points. The Giants have just been great against tight ends because they suck against everything else. I don't think that makes that big of a difference. That maybe Kmet is the right play here, but do you think that going 2 tight end is too ambitious for this type of slate with 3 games?
No. I mean, with the value that opened up, and we'll see what else unfolds. You give me 2, like you can get 2 tight ends for like roughly $7K. You burn your flex spot, so there's opportunity costs, but we're going to probably be able to get 2 top-tier running backs with that build.
All right, well, who do you want to use from the Lions on the way back in this game? So you have Caleb, DJ Moore, and Kmet. Those are the 3 that we have in from the Bears side. Would you want to use Amon-Ra, or do you cheap out there and use one of the running backs?
I'll say let's use. I would go St. Brown. I obviously you can go with running backs, but I think we can make this work with St. Brown.
Can we do St. Brown and Montgomery?
Yeah. See, now we're getting a little dangerous. All right. So we got three. We got the three Bears. We bring it back with St. Brown and Demont. Yeah, we can make this work.
Yeah, we have 5,200 left. I don't know what's looking for the other side of the game, but we'll figure that out in a second. I want to flip the build, go with the Goff, just passing game. And you could probably even use Gibbs in this if you want to. He might be too expensive in order to make that work. And there's I'm good with using Tyrone Tracy and Rico Dowdle this week as running backs. So maybe we do that. Maybe we say Dowdle and Tracy as the two running backs. And that saves us some money. That gets us Amon-Ra and Jameson Williams. Do you think you'd want to throw in another Lion into this? On these slates, you always have to play some loser at the bottom at wide receiver and hope that they catch a touchdown. Is Tim Patrick that guy this week?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how is Raymond's super injured. Not that.
Yeah, Raymond seems like he's going to be out for this game.
Okay. Oh, good. You see, it would be peak Thanksgiving for Allen Robinson, who I didn't even know was in the league, to do something. Yeah, Patrick 35. I mean, you could do that. You could go. I think it'll be very interesting to see Goff stacks without St. Brown or Gibbs. I'd say that'll be a very low percentage of them. So, if you went Goff, Jameson, and Laporta, that would probably be a leverage Lion stack.
Okay. I can get behind that. If you want to explain it to people, I know we kind of go through this every single year, but obviously new people end up watching. On a 3-game slate like this, is it more game theory than picks than it would be in your average slate with that has 10 to 14 games on it?
100%, because you have such a finite amount of options, and even with that, the combinations, the ability to be different and have a path is so much more useful. That's why you can leave money on the table. I think one of the most underutilized strategies is to omit a game completely. Just most people, if you look, they'll have even a player from every team, never mind every game. If you go very different like that, those are just quick ways on a macro level to be different. And you need to, because there's still, a couple 100,000 people in some of these that you're trying to beat.
Yeah, obviously you don't have to go as crazy in the smaller field tournaments, which there's a nice 3 max $75 that I think that I'll probably be shooting for this week. I like that tournament.
Yeah, and there again, it's always that balance. You still need to have a plan, but you don't need to do let me stack up the Lions and then I'll run the Bears defense and hope for 2 pick sixes, Texans Titans style.
Well, you could do a complete onslaught here. If we leave off St. Brown, I put in Dowdle and Tracy right now, but if we leave off Amon-Ra, we could put in one of the running backs with Goff if we wanted to. Now, obviously, Gibbs makes the most sense, but if you're trying to think nonsensically about this, then Montgomery would be the guy to put in.
Yes, Montgomery would be. The correlation between Montgomery and Goff will be extremely, extremely low for people.
And it doesn't mean that it can't get there on a slate like this. All you'd really need is for this game and the Lions to just outscore everyone else on the slate. And then there's just enough for all those guys to go around. And then other running backs or quarterbacks don't get to that point too. I building out both sides of this, I think I like the Caleb side better.
So do I. The problem is I think if we ask 10 people, at least 8 would say they like the Caleb side better too.
Yeah. I mean,
this side is wild.
Yeah, I'm just going to build out one side on this show for each of the teams, and we'll go back and fill in the rest of the rosters in a second. But can you build? I mean, obviously you can. We just did it. Build out this Goff stack without Amon-Ra. But would you want to do that?
Maybe in some large field tournaments, just because I like the ability to have a unique line or a more unique Lion stack. But realistically, truly, if Goff hits some type of a ceiling, it's hard to think that St. Brown isn't involved. And the problem with Goff too, he's almost assuredly going to have to get there in the traditional way. He doesn't have he could run a couple in and it kills St. Brown and he gets there. Goff has to get there via the receivers.
Yeah, unless it's St. Brown throwing to Laporta or something like that. So maybe we do
with them.
Goff, St. Brown, Williams, and Laporta all together. It leaves us $4,600. And then if we take like a Chicago player, like who is your favorite Chicago player?
DJ Moore.
So we can throw DJ Moore in. It gives us 4,200, but that's with a defense, and we can figure out a flex. So we can overload that game if we use Dowdle and Tracy at running back and do it that way. So we can come back to that one in a second. Anything else on this game? Like, do you prefer any of the defenses here, or is this the wrong game to target the defense? Do you think?
So I think most people, Chicago's defense, you're drawing to a fluke. I don't see any reason that they're going to stop Detroit. The Lions defense, I always find that interesting on a 3-game slate. Traditionally, I rarely target the defense of my stack, but on something like this, if you're going full onslaught and say you have like a Goff, Montgomery, and all those guys, one of the ways that you can get there is obviously you need a lot of touchdowns. The easiest way to get touchdowns is short field. So I actually don't mind looping the Lions defense in with my Goff stacks.
All right, so if we throw in Lions, we've built this out to just a flex play left, and it would give us $4,900, which means we'd have our choice. Romeo Doubs, I doubt, is playing for Green Bay in the Thursday night game because he sustained a concussion, had to leave the game. So you have like Watson, Singletary, Mostert, Wendell, Roshan Johnson, Zeke, Slayton's actually quite interesting at 4,400 on this slate just because of his big play potential. Unfortunately, Tommy Cutlets is throwing the ball, so that's probably not going to work out. Like Wicks is $4,200, and he'll probably end up seeing more run in this game with Romeo Doubs out. Or you could just go to another tight end, and all of those guys are super cheap. What would you want to do to fill this out?
I mean, I think Watson's probably the prudent move. He's got some big play potential. It would probably be one of the wide receivers, either him or Slayton.
What about Wicks?
Just because, or Wicks.
Or Wicks. Yeah, I mean, all things being equal, like obviously I trust Christian Watson more than I trust Wicks, but on a slate like this, I'd rather just take the bad side of the coin flip and leave $700 on the table and say, hey, no one's going to have this lineup at least.
And that's, again, it's one of those things. I know it sounds kind of counterintuitive. Barring something really obscene, if you're like, I would give me any unique lineup that's not insane, and I would take it on a 3-game slate.
The other one to look at, he didn't play on Sunday against Washington, but Brendan Cooks might be activated against the Giants, and he's just sitting there at $4,500, and I doubt anyone plays him.
Yeah, I didn't even consider him being alive. So that's going to be, God, Dallas is one of all the teams. I think Dallas is the most confusing team in all this.
I mean, let's move on to that game then. We'll go Giants and Dallas. I don't even want to build out a Tommy DeVito lineup. That's how much I hate Tommy DeVito. So let's build up the Dallas side of it. And I think it's pretty clear where the ball goes on this side of the ball. Like it's Cooper Rush and it's CeeDee. I don't know if they have the upside.
Why did they get Mingo?
What's that? Why? I have no idea.
Why did they get Mingo? What exactly was the plan there?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. Rush, I would even throw Dowdle into this as well, because I think he's going to have a lot of success against the Giants, and maybe he ends up doing some more in the passing game. But like, you could put Schoonmaker into this. He ended up catching the touchdown. Would you play Turpin on a slate like this?
So I think you definitely could, and if you do that, and I expect a lot of people will, I would probably just do I'd go for the double dip, and I would play him with the Cowboys defense.
You almost have to, don't you?
I think you do. Yeah, because really you're banking on him turning. I mean, maybe he is Devin Hester. What do I know? He is that fast. I saw him many years in college do it. So yeah, I would probably just double dip him with the Cowboys defense.
All right, we probably don't need Dowdle in this then. You go Cooper Rush, Lamb, Turpin, and Cowboys D as your shell for the Cowboys.
Oh yeah.
What do you like from the Giants? Like, I don't know if I want to pay for Neighbors, but at 7,100, the second, I guess he's not the second most expensive guy if I take all the filters off. St. Brown, then Lamb, then Neighbors. So he's the third most expensive receiver on this slate. I just find it difficult to believe that people are going to get to Neighbors when you have all these other guys around him. Like even Lamb with a diminished Cooper Rush is just still getting the ball every single time.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really on Neighbors on Sunday, and I was on some Lamb for sure. Just not working. The entire offense is an absolute dumpster fire. It would still by default have to be Neighbors or Slayton. You have Wandale, who's gonna give you a floor, but honestly, what is his ceiling? I really don't see it.
I don't see it either. I guess my issue would be like, do you do something like Theo Johnson instead and just like punt that off, knowing that's not a spot where anyone's going to go to, and just pray that he somehow ends up with like 14 points and he's the highest scoring tight end because tight ends just have a bad day?
You definitely could do that. It's also a decent blocker. Like Cooper Rush stacks are gonna have a lot of Schoonmaker, and I like Schoonmaker this week. So like if you do outscore him, you could box out very similar lineups with Theo Johnson. I'm fine with that. I don't think honestly that the Giants are a type of team. Even if I go to a Cowboys, I'm not sure I would be fine just having no Giants.
I guess that's the other way to do it. I mean, Tracy is my favorite of the Giants, and
Yeah, same.
And I think that he's going to get a lot of love on this slate just because. If people can afford it, they're going to go A-Chain, Gibbs, and Jacobs. Maybe we should try to play, or yeah, like Swift, Tracy, and Dowdle almost inevitably have to be a lot lower, don't they?
Yeah, by default, the opportunity, and again with Montgomery sporting a Q tag, it's going to be the large majority of lineups are going to have two north of Montgomery, and there's only three guys up there. And I'm sure plenty of people will try to start with the quote unquote big three there and make it work because you can.
Yeah. Of note to people that there is a free pick available on Underdog for the Thanksgiving slate. If you use code Mayo right now and go make your first deposit, you get a deposit bonus of up to $1,000, and you'll get a Jordan Love free pick for Thanksgiving Day. I'll have the full Thanksgiving picks released in the newsletter a little bit later on this week, maybe even on the spread show that comes out on Tuesday morning. If the slate is out by then on Underdog, we'll get some picks out for you. But if not, just go sign up right now with code Mayo, get yourself in, get that free pick eligible, and then boom, we can turn it around. And we're doing our best bets on Thursday morning live bet at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Me, Cuss, Jeff, and Cam. We'll have some nice props in that people can use along with a free pick. One of the guys that we didn't talk about in the Bears game that I'm just kind of looking at the running back list, out of all the backups or like random dudes, like Theo Riddick used to be my guy on Thanksgiving for the Lions just because he was the pass catching running back who would just potentially, if the Lions ever got behind, and at that time they got behind a lot, that he would just pile up like 7 catches and you hope he scores a touchdown. I kind of feel the same way about Roshan Johnson this week.
Yeah, I mean, it always seems for some reason Thanksgiving from the Amir Abdullahs to AP had a game one time. It's just always those type of disturbing things. Watch it be Singletary, who took his 2 carries for 1 touchdown last week. But yeah, Johnson, I mean, the one thing about the Bears, they seem very content using him in that role. This guy is getting the work around the goal line.
Yeah, like well, let's say you had to pick between Roshan, who is 45, Mostert, or Jalen Wright, I suppose, 47 and 42, Singletary at 48, or Zeke at 44. Who would you go with?
Not Zeke. Just not. You could throw him out right now. Yeah, it would either be Mostert or Johnson.
I think it'd be Roshan for me. Like, hey, he's going to catch passes. It's not that, listen, Swift is going to catch passes too. We didn't even really talk about Swift. Just, do you think people get to Swift at 6,000?
Of course, they're going to get to him in the sense that it's 3 games, but not in the extent you mentioned this already. Most people are trying to get 2 of 3 north of Montgomery with Jacobs, Gibbs, and Achane. So it renders that next range somewhat dead. I think people will round out their lineups if they need a third with Dowdle or Tracy before they go to Swift.
Let's throw Swift in this lineup then.
Okay, I could do that. Yeah, that works.
With Cooper Rush, and he'll be the bear that we use, and hopefully, listen, if he turns the corner, Swift can go. He at least is a big home run hitting type of running back, and if they do utilize him in the receiving game, and Roshan doesn't steal a goal line carry, all of a sudden we could be looking good as a part of that game. We come back to fill it out later, that we can add some of the Lions to it. Anything else on this game that you want to go to? Or is this probably pretty good? Like, Schoonmaker makes the most sense in this lineup, but I'm good with not playing him. Or as you said, just Dallas onslaught, no Giants.
Yeah, I like that. Like I said, I think most people, and I do this all the time, and I'm trying not to, and that's why a lot of the tools help me do that. I don't think you need a run back even in these short slates. You could go onslaught, and the Cowboys could easily win, 30-3, and you don't want any giant.
I think the correlation in the run back makes more sense in probably smaller field tournaments where you don't need the nuts in order to win, where you just need a good floor. But in these large, like, you're basically just playing a 9-game parlay with this. So you need to get some correlation positively for you, and then just hope that make your team unique enough that you don't need the other side to score like 14 points. You just have to take your one-off shots in the other games. And Swift kind of hits all those factors for me. He's going to be low owned. He has the home run potential, and he seems to have a very negative game script. But, Ben, if I was from the future, I'd win more bets.
You and me both. And that's what you need. You have to take, you said this earlier, like you have to take some coin tosses where it's 65-35, not your direction. And okay, I got to get a little lucky. But if I do, say Swift outscores raw points, Gibbs or something like that, the advantage that you're in is so, so powerful in these short slates.
It's the best feeling when clothes fit good and look good, and you can comfortably wear them all day long. And that's exactly how I feel about my clothing from Doers. These are the most comfortable pants I've ever owned, and I'm reaching for them every day. Unfortunately, I get dirty. I got 2 little kids, and when you got 2 little kids, you go through a ton of laundry, so it's not like you can just clean clothes every single day. You gotta wait for that stuff to pile up at the same time. But I wear my Doers as often as possible. I got 4 pairs right now. My wife, let me tell you, it's working. It's working for me with Doer, and they have styles that can be worn all year round. Their stretch performance denim and lifestyle apparel is built for doing. I love my Doers, and now's the time to get your own because Doer's Black Friday sale is on now. They've got up to 50% off these incredibly comfortable pants, and this is the best time to upgrade your wardrobe before the new year and find some amazing holiday gifts. Doer sale runs through December 2nd, but don't wait. These items will sell out fast. So go to shopdoer.com/PME to get these great deals before they're gone. That's shopdoer, DUER.com/PME. Shopdoer.com/PME. Introducing the TGL presented by SoFi, golf's newest league live on ESPN and ESPN+. It's sharp and it's electric. How is it sharp? How is it electric? Picture this. 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime-forcing, playoff on-the-line golf with 24 of the best players from the PGA Tour, like Tiger and Rory and more, split into 6 teams: Atlanta, Boston, Jupiter, LA, New York, the Bay. This isn't your average Sunday pickup game. To learn more, visit tglgolf.com and tune in to the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up. It's golf. As we enter the holiday season, there's always a lot of people that just don't handle this part of the year all that well. I've seen it in my own family. And if you're thinking about giving therapy a try, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Mayo to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/PatMayo. The holiday season's when people start to fall off from the routine. I know that I've fallen into that trap before, but I found now that I've started drinking AG1 every morning, it gets me on the path of where I need to be so I don't lapse at this time of year. And right now, AG1's running a special Black Friday offer for all November. AG1 is a daily health drink packed with nutrients to help you alleviate bloating, support sustained energy, and whole body health. But here's the key. You dump in a bit of water, half full of the bottle they send you. You dump in your scoop of AG1, cut that with your favorite juice. I like orange juice, so I cut it with orange juice. You shake that up, you pound it back. Not only is it delicious, you also feel great at the same time. And the energy boost it gives you over something else that you might consume in the morning is basically immeasurable, at least to me at this point. So this holiday season, try AG1 for yourself or even gift it to someone special. It's the perfect time to focus on supporting your body with an easy and surprisingly delicious daily health drink. And that's why I'm so excited to be partnering with them. Every week of November, AG1 will be running a special Black Friday offer for a free gift with your first subscription, in addition to the welcome kit with vitamin D3 and K2. So make sure to check out drinkag1.com/mayo to see what gift you can get this week. That's drinkag1/mayo to start your holiday season off on a healthier note. While supplies last. Last game, the Thanksgiving night game. This one's always the more fun one too. Do you like the love side or the dolphin side of this?
I like the love side. Now he's been playing like garbage, so I guess I'm a little concerned, but in Green Bay, the volume hasn't been there, but early in the year, he was putting up crazy numbers and he makes a lot of mistakes. I actually think that could be a good thing for him. And now we might get a little more condensed in terms of target share. I might entertain some Jordan Love stacks this week.
All right, how many Jordan Love guys do you want to put together? Because I think that Wicks, I don't know if Wicks ends up becoming the chalk on this slate because Kid Romeo going to be out and he's only $4,200 and he allows you to pay up. Would it be worth it to go like Reed, Watson, and Tucker Kraft? Or do you leave out Reed and go Watson, Wicks, and Kraft, something like that? Or play him with Jacobs, maybe?
You could do all of those. I do think in general, though, for me with Love, I want a bunch of them because he's still going to distribute the ball. And I'm banking on, instead of, 19 or 22 passes, I want like 30 attempts here. And if we get that, the target share on these guys are going to be really good. And I'm banking that Malik Heath doesn't steal the touchdown this time for reasons. If it was me, I would go Watson, Wicks, and Kraft with him.
All right, let's throw those four in and we'll build out that side. Who would you bring back if you wanted to on the Dolphin side? Would this be an A-chain spot? I don't know what the sentiment around Tyreek is. Every week I think that no one's going to play Tyreek and then everyone just talks themselves into Tyreek and then he sucks.
Yeah, that's about sums it up. I mean, now, like, where I've been playing Waddle for a month, and I don't know what that was yesterday. So I still ultimately would like to get to Tyreek. I think this would be a cool build with Tyreek in it. Or even if you want to get really crazy, jam both of them. Jam Tyreek and Achane.
Oh, that can work. And just hope that this is the game that shoots out.
Yeah, and hope that Tua's a statue. All his points are distributed amongst two guys, and Love boxes him out. Now you have a Miami stack without the quarterback, and you have the Packers onslaught.
All right, and that leaves you $5,400 left, so we can fill that back out in a second. Let's build out the Tua side. Tua has to, you just won a bunch of money. My main lineup this week was a Tua stack. It won money, but it wasn't Tua with Waddle. It was Tua with Tyreek and Achane and not Waddle and Jonnu Smith with what you actually needed to get to the top. So because that just happened, how fresh do you think that plays in people's minds when they're building out with Tua?
I think pretty fresh, to be honest, particularly with Jonnu. Jonnu's just been absolutely smashing last 2 weeks, 19 targets, 3 touchdowns, which is just ridiculous. He's going to be real popular because of that. Obviously, Achane's taken over this backfield. I don't know how much. Maybe Jalen Wright is like the triple mega mind genius play. I don't really want to do that, not with Tua, but just in general.
I think just playing Achane with Tua, like when you take a look at Achane, he had a good receiving game anyway. He caught a touchdown on Sunday from Tua. But in games where they're underdogs and actively trailing, the target share for Achane goes up to like 30% rather than 11%.
Oh yeah, he's a weapon. Tua relies on him. I'm certainly comfortable pairing him, and then it's just a matter. Again, if you're playing against a million people, I think you could do something crazy like just have them, but obviously the prudent move would be to add at least one more.
I was thinking that too, but like then you're just hoping it's like Malik Washington or Beckham ends up, or Julian Hill steals a touchdown from them, and then Achane gets his on the ground, he gets one through the air, but Tua throws like 3.
Yep, and that's not impossible. And if that happens, you have unique. Every other Tua team has dead wide receivers. There's no chance that they won't have Jonnu or Tyreek or Waddle. And now you have that but you're going 1v1 probably with Schoonmaker or, I don't know, Jamison Williams or Reed or Neighbors against, the Waddles and Tyreeks.
I think this lineup makes the most sense to use Jacobs in, but you could like one off one of the Packers receivers, I think. And I think, or you could do Kraft at tight end and hopefully like he just, instead of using Jonnu in this lineup, use Kraft instead and just hope that he ends up being the guy and Tua distributes it to the other tight ends. Or would you want to use like Wicks, Watson? Like what Packer do you want to use in this mix?
It would be Jacobs for me. If I had to use a different Packer, it would be probably Jalen Reed.
What if we do both?
Jaden Reed. Okay.
We go Tua, Achane.
That's a weird looking lineup.
It's super weird. But all this is telling me is that Achane gets there and Tua distributes. And then on the other side, the Packers keep up, but it's not all concentrated. It's like half to Jacobs. But you're just, instead of like we did with the Love lineup where you said that he is going to distribute the ball to all these random different dudes, that this is saying that he's not doing that. It basically just all goes to Jaden Reed.
I like that. This is the type of weird, sick stuff that can happen on the holidays.
All right, let's go back and fill in these lineups then and to see how they do and how they stack up. Let's go back to the beginning now that we've talked through some of the values. So as a refresher, if you're seeing it on the screen, we got Caleb Williams with DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, and running it back with Montgomery and Amon-Ra. We have $5,200 remaining per player in this lineup. That includes a defense and maybe even a cheap wide receiver somewhere. What would you want to do with the rest of this lineup?
Okay, so we could go, let's see. We could go like Jacobs in Green Bay defense if we wanted to be a little weird.
Is there a defense that sticks out to you just off the hop? Because I think that the Giants defense is going to be criminally under-owned, and I do like them. I'd almost rather play Tracy and Giants D.
We can do that. Then we'll have even more money for sure.
I like having more money to spend on guys that I don't want to play. It happens to me every week.
Every single time.
So we have 6,200 for a receiver and a flex. So if we just went there is no one at 62. It's like DeAndre Swift and Jamison Williams, or you get up to like Tyreek, Jacobs, and Neighbors in this spot. And we didn't play any Packers as of yet, but you could go like Wicks, CeeDee Lamb, or something like that. Achane and Wicks.
You could do that as well. Achane and Wicks is kind of interesting.
Let's see. If we put in Wicks, we have 80. We can have anyone on the slate and leave money on the table if we play Wicks. But if you use Watson, I think CD is the highest you can get to.
Yeah, you leave a couple hundred. This is where you can do a lot of things. We're running out of time. You could go CD and Watson. You could go, I know we're disrupting the stack. If you want to go mega onslaught, you could go CD and Keenan Allen and add another bear. I probably would go Wicks and Achane personally.
Let's do that. Let's go Wicks and Achane and hope that works out. Now, it's not official that Kid Romeo is going to be out this week, but if you have a concussion on Sunday, you're probably not going to play on Thursday. Is that a good enough logical take?
I mean, I would assume, I don't really understand the protocol, but yeah, I would assume that you can't pass.
Additionally, too, that if you're going to use any Packers or any Dolphins, put them into your flex. I know that I shouldn't have to say that, but I'm going to throw that out there because just in case you need to late swap onto someone.
Yeah, if you're sober and you can do that, you definitely want to plan ahead.
All right. So
I always forget to swap on Thanksgiving. It happens to me every time.
I forget to swap every single week, but I like to talk about it going in. I know it's the right thing to do and that I should be looking at it. If I may have done it once ever. And I did it on a big Theo Riddick game because I had the nuts early from the Lions game that I swapped onto all the chalk later and then didn't win. Fun times.
Yeah, that's the worst when you don't actually need to swap. It's just like, oh, I have a great start. What do I do? And it's like, I probably should just leave it.
Okay, so the Cowboys one is Cooper Rush, DeAndre Swift, or Cooper Rush, CeeDee Lamb, Turpin, and Cowboys, no Giants, and we decided to use DeAndre Swift in this. We have $6,300 per player. What would you like to do?
Okay, so let's go to the videotape. 63. No Giants. I like that. Realistically, this might be where Gibbs factors in.
All right,
Like to get him in
yeah,
there.
we don't have any Gibbs yet, so we'll put in Gibbs. I could see him eating the turkey at the end. Or do you just want to say screw it, use Montgomery? Or use both?
So I don't. That's the question that comes up every year, and I'm always like, it's too much salary, and then not when they both have two. But let's see. So if we go Gibbs, we're gonna have plenty of money. No, yeah. I mean, this is where you're gonna be able to choose basically anybody you want, because of Turpin and Rush.
Exactly. So you could like this is a lineup where you could go. You just say that Detroit game is Swift, Gibbs, and Montgomery, and that's it. And then you'd have a wide receiver and a tight end, and you can have the problem is at the top of tight end, it's like Neighbors and Tyreek, and that's not awesome.
No,
Maybe
that's where it gets.
Solo Tyreek.
Yeah, I mean, I have on my screen right now solo Tyreek. I just don't know what to do with tight end.
Tyreek, Jacobs, and then at tight end you can have anyone besides Jonnu. So we don't want to use I mean, we could use Laporta, we could use Tucker Kraft, we could use Komet.
Yeah, Laporta makes sense. I kind of like that.
Yeah, and I think out of all the big tight ends, he'll be the lowest owned.
Yeah, I mean, Jonnu. People are going to pay Jonnu and people are going to play Schoonmaker. I feel very confident about that.
Yeah, Komet might actually end up being the play, but that's just not the way that we're factoring our lineups around. We're just going to say Swift all the time for the Bears side of the ball and just assume they don't score 45 points and we should be okay. That's that lineup. The Jordan Love. So we have Love, Wicks, Watson, Kraft with Achane and Tyreek. So we've stacked up the late game. I will move... We'll figure out the rest of the lineup, and then I'll move either Achane or Watson into the flex for this spot, just to make sure that I have that option, because I am going to be playing this lineup. Do you want to go like Tracy and Giants D here, or then do we just have too much money?
No, because I think we can. Yeah, you can do that. This is probably my favorite lineup that we've made. If you go Tracy and Giants defense, and then just go straight Gibbs.
Oh, yeah, you do have Gibbs, yeah. That actually works.
Yeah, and he's the only player from the early game. Most people tend to not want to do that. Say the game isn't just, whatever. It's more methodical than people anticipate. You survive that. I don't think it's crazy that why I like this. Look at this lineup. There are no players from Dallas and there are no players from Chicago. So you're only using 4 teams.
I think that's a really interesting. I had never really considered that before. That everyone will want to get a piece at least of one of the teams. You're like, oh, well, they're not going to score 0 points, therefore I'll need to get that player right. That just might not be the case.
Not on only 3 games. It is on 12 games because it's like, okay, I could throw a team away here and there because there's so many options. But yeah, you could just have a couple teams that only score 3 or 7, or something like that. And I love a lineup like this.
All right, the last one we have is the Tua side, and we built out Tua very strangely. So it's Tua with Achane, and then Jacobs and Reed on the other side. I'll move Achane into the flex already, just because I know that we're going to try to jam in another running back here if we can afford it. So if that's the case, we have 4,700. So we do need some of the cheaper guys, but we don't want any cheap Dolphins or any cheap Packers in this spot. So how do we finagle this?
This is a situation where I'd be comfortable going like Dowdle and maybe like the Cowboys defense.
What about Turpin and the Cowboys D again?
You could do that too.
You
could use
two Turpins in 6 lineups might be too many.
Yeah, probably too many, but
because you could break it off too. Like you could use Brooks, or you could use Tolbert, or even Brandon Cooks in the spot if he ends up coming back. But obviously, I don't. Let's see what the latest injury. He was not activated and will not play. Cooks isn't ready to return to the field. But there's a possibility he'll be activated against the Giants. Like he becomes like the move is going to be he's going to become like the ultimate swap guy as we get the inactives released during the Lions game, because no one will have him in if we don't know, and then everyone will swap onto him and he'll play like 1 snap.
This does seem like something that could transpire.
Because if we can get to Turpin at 33 and Cowboys D, which is also cheap, or use like Theo Johnson or someone at tight end, like we could get Gibbs back into this.
Yeah, you definitely could get Gibbs. So I filled this out. We don't obviously have to do this. I went Turpin, Dowdle, Cowboys defense. And then I closed it out with St. Brown and Komet.
Ooh. You can get both those two?
You can.
Okay. I can get behind that. Do you like Gibbs or St. Brown better? I guess that doesn't work in this lineup. You'd have to have another...
In this lineup, yeah, that's the thing, because you can't get a fourth running. I kind of like just isolating. This is a weird looking lineup, but it's so weird that kind of on board.
It's so weird you can talk yourself into it.
I like lineups like this because it just doesn't. You know what I like about it? It doesn't make sense in construction, but the players are all good. I feel like what most people do with 3 games, they're like, I have to get different. I'll play Johnny Fitzpatrick, and it's like, no, don't do that. Just do a weird combination. Leave some money on the table. Do a unique stack. That's more valuable than playing. Don't tell me that's Mercedes Lewis is on this slate. Didn't even know he was still in the league.
I mean, the fact that he's not on the Jets with Aaron Rodgers is mind-blowing.
It's travesty, yes.
All right. Do you the Black Friday game is just I don't have a lot of interest in like Showdown or anything like that. So, do you have any particular takes about the Black Friday game and how to like build that out?
No, I mean, yeah, obviously when you're talking about Showdown is a totally different beast. In general, I think 5-1s, in terms of the onslaught. The problem is I don't even have the spread in front of me. I assume it's got to be pretty damn sizable that most people are shading towards the Chiefs.
Well, here's the problem with that game. Yeah, it's a 13-point spread for the Chiefs, but the Chiefs get so spread out. Noah Gray is going to be hilariously owned. The problem with breaking this game down so early in the week, I'd check out, you guys over at Stochastic are going to do a very good job of this. I know that Tambo and Hoop over at Ship and Nation are going to have this solo game isolated. Hell, I would just Run the Sims. Like this is honestly where the Sims have their biggest advantages is in stupid games like this. Because right now, we don't know if Pacheco is going to be back for the Chiefs. We have no idea who's playing quarterback for the Raiders. Minshew's out for the year. It's probably going to be Ritter, but O'Connell might get activated, then throw an entire wrench into this. No idea whether or not Madison is playing, or if Zamir White is playing, or if they're both going to be out again, and then you have to use like Sincere McCormick at running back. Like, this game is just... I'm fine with just watching this one on my Amazon Prime and calling it a day.
Yeah, the Friday is reserved for, you got college football, you got really good college basketball. I will let the tools do the work for me. I have Desmond Ritter and Sincere McCormick takes.
Do you have any NCAA men's basketball and or men's football Thanksgiving/Black Friday takes?
There's a ton of good games, particularly in college football. College basketball, they're playing tournaments, so it's hard to know who will end up playing, in life. Even though, as I told you before the show, don't sleep on Longwood. I know that's a school you root for, and they're playing much better this year.
That sounds like a B-movie sex school.
It might be, but they play damn good basketball. In addition to whatever else they're doing there, it's a scene, man. Honestly, for Friday, most of the really good college football games are Saturday. I will say on Friday, Oklahoma State's defense is the worst defense I think I've ever seen. If you just blindly bet the over in all their games, you have a lot more money than me.
And they're playing.
It's 65 against
right?
Colorado. Just bet the over. What'd you say?
The Sanders is playing, right?
It doesn't. I don't even care. He took. Yeah, that was quite a hit. Oklahoma State's defense. I got to bring this up. Let's say Oklahoma State football. First of all, they're just absolutely horrendous. They're 3-8. They just gave up 56 to Texas Tech, 38 to TCU, 42 to Arizona State, 38 to Baylor, 38 to BYU, 38 to West Virginia, 42 to Kansas State. It's just bad every single week with them.
Did they score any points?
Oh, they scored. They put up 48 last week. 13, 21, 28, 35, 14, 20, 19, 45, 39, 44. They can score.
And that's on Black Friday? So there's my
That's
Black
on
Friday investment. Instead of betting on the Chiefs Raiders game, I'll just bet the over in the total of this game, Oklahoma State and Colorado. Done.
Easy game. Black Friday, right at 11 your time. 1 your time.
1 my time, I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah. 1 your time. I can't get that right. It's noon Eastern. Let's just go with that.
Noon Eastern. I will be live at 10 a.m. Eastern on Friday with Cam, Jeff, and Cust doing the best bets for each of the Thanksgiving games and the Black Friday game. What do you got going on this weekend?
Yeah, obviously it's just an awesome time with Thanksgiving, and I know we talked a lot of DFS here. I've been spending a ton of time on the betting side over at OddsShopper. We have an awesome deal for Thanksgiving. Just go to oddshopper.com. There's a giant banner when the show's released. It'll be live, and the code is THANKS, and you can get the tools that have been using a lot of people, making a lot of people a lot of money on the betting side with Portfolio EV. So I'm really excited. It's my favorite time of the year with basketball, football. Yeah, just good things all around.
And follow Ben to get some of those college basketball early season weird tournament bets. This is where you really thrive.
This is my, I got my African soccer takes, but no, college basketball is definitely historically my best sport because, like I said, Longwood and High Point and Cal Baptist, all the teams that, like I said, I know you secretly root for them, but most people watching probably don't.
What was that? High Point? Where's that?
Yeah, High Point. They're good.
Yeah,
They're in North Carolina somewhere.
And the other one's
in High Point, actually. I think that's a place.
Yeah, High Point, North Carolina is home of High Point
Find
University.
out where Longwood is while you're at it.
Longwood College University?
Yeah, you might get a virus, but if you don't, I'm assuming it'll pop up.
Longwood University is in Farmville, Virginia.
Ah, okay. Yeah, Virginia. That's what I thought. Farmville. Can't say I've never been there.
It is shocking they have a good men's basketball team, considering they were founded in 1839 as the Farmville Female Seminary.
Well, they've adapted, but yeah, no, they're playing real good. They're 6-1, and I don't know. We'll see what they're made of. They got some big tests coming up.
Yeah, and they'll give you the fucking long wood if they lose, won't they?
You don't have to tell me twice. Yeah, Lancers. Don't sleep on the Lancers.
All right, everyone have a very Merry Thanksgiving. Is that what people say in America? I have no idea.
Yeah,
Merry Thanksgiving. Ho, ho, ho.
Sure. Yeah, coin it. Take it. Yeah, no, everyone be safe, have fun, and enjoy the holiday.
Yeah, and if you get too drunk, don't forget to late swap. Or forget to late swap and win money that way.
Yeah, if you're not going to late swap, play in our contest, please.
I mean,
need our help.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to play in them, and I'm not going to late swap. I'm barely coherent by the time the last game comes around.
Yeah, the last game, I don't know. It only used to be 2 games, right?
Yeah. I mean, it used to be. It's been this way for like 10, 15 years now.
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah.
Do you know how much it costs to go to Longwood University after you get aid? Which seems like a very weird way to construct that. Average cost after aid. How much does it just cost?
Longwood, I have $50K a year?
It says $21,000 after.
Not bad.
You could do 4 years of college in Canada for under $21,000 American. I know. I went through it.
I mean, that can't put a price on going to Longwood though. If you win Showdown, that could be what you spend your money on.
You get some Longwood, go to the Farmville Female Seminary, and you're off to the races.
Why not? Why not? Yeah, I got to do some research on Farmville. I know a lot of cities. I can't say I've ever heard of Farmville.
Let's see. The local tuition for Longwood is $15,000 a year. The domestic tuition is $28,000 a year. Is that like good or bad? That seems like such an outrageous amount of money for 1 year of college, but that's like,
oh my God,
that's the standard, right?
That's like, I think a little cheap.
Cheap.
Like yeah. I mean, so I was just looking, I happened to be looking at this last night because there's another college basketball team called St. Thomas who's awesome.
Are they on the island? Are they on the island of St. Thomas? Like, are they in like the Virgin Islands or whatever it is?
They are literally the opposite of that. They're in the heart of Minnesota.
Okay.
So slightly different climate, but I was looking at schools in Minnesota, and McAllister College is up there, which is a really smart school, and they're almost 80,000 a year.
Seems like a lot. How much is MIT?
I, I don't know.
Like 80,000?
I mean, if Matt Damon could go in there, I bet it's around 80.
It's just like, are you guaranteed a job coming out of this? Is that a part of the deal?
You need more than that. Yeah, I mean, it's again, you get that experience. You can't put a price on the memories.
Like, does
320K of them?
Yeah, 320K to live in the middle of Minnesota during the winter. It'll toughen you up, and that's the real experience you need.
That's right. You know what? It's good. You got to acclimate to that climate. But yeah, that's a lot. That's insane. 80,000.
Do they take like that's almost a Bitcoin?
Yeah, you can pay him. But yeah, I mean, like, how much is like McGill?
McGill's one of the most expensive, I think. I mean,
I assume
for international students, it's obviously more. But I believe, I mean, Quebec schools are notoriously cheap to go to. Like, it's probably like $4,000 a year or something like that. Students from the rest of Canada, of course. I mean, it's also Canada, so they don't actually put it up. Yeah, McGill for undergraduate, non-thesis, and non-thesis graduate students enrolled for the first time in 2024. It's $424 per credit. So you take 10 of those a year, it's like $4,500. And it's one of the top 20.
So you could do 20 years at McGill or 1 year at MIT. That's what you're telling me?
Yeah, McGill, top 25 school in the world, too.
Yeah.
But you have to be in Quebec. Don't forget that.
Seems good. You know me. I like the cold.
And McGill's the English-speaking school in Montreal.
Yeah. I know people that went to McGill, and
they very much enjoyed it.
They did. Great school.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't go there. I went to
Neither did I.
I went to the crappiest school around. You know, it's fine. Just get your degree and move on.
Turned out fine. You're talking about Farmville on a Monday. How bad can life be?
I know. Listen, my school won the national championship in football and hockey when I was there. So you can tell what kind of school I went. I went to the Arizona State of Canada.
See? A low-key powerhouse up there.
Yeah, there you go. Listen, if you want to get good at drinking and not going to... The college I went to, they know themselves. They're good at sports. They have a good commerce program, and that's about it. You go do anything else. They don't have class on Fridays.
Yeah, that's smart. Like you said, they understand the assignment.
Yeah, they're just now Friday. We'll go Monday to Thursday. And unless you're in sciences, I don't know what you're doing in sciences at this school, but you can have Friday class if you're in sciences. If you're in commerce, Friday through Monday, you're just days off for you. Just do whatever you want.
That sounds good. If I go back, I'm going to go there.
Yeah, you can live with me, and when you're 45, and you can go and party it up at school in Halifax.
It sounds like an actual good plan.
All right, Ben, have a great Thanksgiving. Great Thanksgiving to all you good people out there. Be safe, win some money, and smash the like while you're here. Sub to the channel as well, all right? I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.